Hello, welcome to the third and final part of the AMPEX tape repair. This one will focus on how to actually fix the pinch roller itself. That is the part of the cartridge that actually has the tire that turns to goo. Many times the solution is to go out and find another pinch roller from another cartridge. Unfortunately, that involves actually ruining or disabling another cartridge for the purpose of fixing this one. In this way, you actually get to fix the existing pinch roller without having to scavenge from another one. The first part of the series focused on how to open up the Ampex cartridges. The second one showed an example of how to remove a twisted part in a tape or a wrinkle using an iron, and so I'll begin talking about how the pinch roller itself can be fixed. In the interest of saving time, I've actually gone ahead and done a couple of the steps ahead of time, but I'll show you the process on how to get to those steps. The first step you want to do is you want to take the existing pinch roller out of the cartridge. If it's a dry rotted type of pinch roller, it's relatively easy to remove the goo. What you see right here now is masking tape around this hub. Normally this is not on here, and I'll explain in a little while why I already have this on here. But for the time being, just pretend the masking tape is not on here. Pretend you have the gooey mess. What you would do is take a screwdriver and just basically scrape it off. Take off all the old goo as much as you can. Then, using ammonia, such as this, blot a paper towel, and the ammonia is an excellent solvent for the goo. It actually dissolves it very well. And just kind of wipe it around the roller. And you may actually end up having some of this goo inside the cartridge itself if it's one of those types of gooey messes where it actually spilled into a puddle. In that case, you have to take the parts out of the cartridge, including the tape itself and the pressure rollers and other parts, and clean them off with the ammonia. The ammonia will dissolve it, and then you probably want to wipe off the ammonia with a water dampened paper towel as well, and then dry it off. Certainly you can use a Q-tip dipped in ammonia also to get rid of some of the goo, and then dry off all the parts. Okay. So once you've done that, you will end up with a plastic hub such as this, or more commonly there's larger ones here. This one actually has a new tire on it. But what you need to do next is take some masking tape and pull out a strip and put it on to a non-stick surface such as this. And I'll just show you the process of getting up to this part right here. Take the masking tape and holding the edge of the plastic wheel, make little marks inside the tape section itself, like this. Okay, holding this against the lower edge, push down and make some marks on the tape itself. Then take a ruler, the one I have with the metal edge, and you can also take a marker or a pen or a pencil and connect the line like this, or you can use the razor itself, and then cut it off. Cut the strip section off like this. Okay, just like that. Then lift it, square off the edges, and the width should be exactly a section between the two raised sections on the pinch roller. And what you do is you'll start the tape inside the hub, and again pretend that this tape isn't on here already, and just wrap it around about 3 times, making sure the tape stays within the edge. If it is raised, you may want to use a razor to trim it thin, because if it rides up on the edge it can affect the proper setting of the tire on the plastic roller, and because if it's not done evenly, the tape will tend to move in and out and be off balance. So just wrap this around like this 3 times, and so I'll pretend that I've done that, and what you're left with is about 3 layers of tape wrapped around this. Next, what you want to do is you want to measure the width of the capstan, okay, on the plastic roller. Okay, so you can cut this to the right width. And what I'll do is I'll normally take some of the tape that I use, or you can use a pen if you want, and holding the edge of the plastic roller against the edge of the rubber tube, you mark it off as such so that it's even. Okay, and you wrap it around basically so you have a nice even thickness here on the tape, such as this, and make sure this edge is also flat. And as you can see, it's roughly about the same all the way around. Then what you do, you get yourself a marker, okay, press it inside the pinch roller or the tubing, and then take your razor blade and just start cutting. Now I'm not going to cut this because I've already cut a piece, but you would basically just turn it sideways, push down, straight down, not at an angle, press down, make sure you go all the way down, okay, and then when you're done you'll pull it off. It'll pull off much like this. Okay. Another thing I need to note is where exactly do you find this, or what is this? Okay. This is actually for a spindle sander, or what they call an oscillating sander. Okay. Sears used to make these, Ryobi used to make these. I don't know if they're still widely available, but they come in 4.5 lengths, but the important part is the 3/4 inch diameter, which of course is the distance between this edge and this edge. So this has to be 3/4 inch, okay. Now the thickness of the tube itself is about 1/8 of an inch. It can be a slightly bit larger, but at least 1/8 of an inch. And these diameters, the 3/4 inch and the 1/8 of an inch, are very important. Otherwise it will not work properly on the pinch roller. Another thing that's very important is making sure this surface is smooth. It can't have any seams or raised edges. It must be smooth, or else the tape will not turn smoothly, and you'll get humps and bumps, and the sound will be off, and it will sound actually pretty horrible. So again, what you were looking for is a rubber spindle, and here is an example of it out of the package. You could also use, if you can find a piece, a rubber hose like this. This also happens to be the same diameter, 3/4 inch by 1/8 inch thick, and it also has a smooth surface on it. Okay, this one's actually a little bit more rigid, but it actually fits very well. And that's also another important thing. The hose has to be somewhat flexible, because if it's too stiff, you won't be able to get it over the edge of the raised edge on the plastic wheel. Okay, that being said, let's take our our cut off piece of rubber, and you want to start working it over, putting it over the edge where the seam on the tape ends here, so you don't push the tape apart or peel it off. So what I normally do is I'll push it like this onto the edge of the plastic wheel until it goes almost about to the bottom here, and you can either try to push the rest over with your fingers, or if it's tight, take your screwdriver like this, okay, and work it up over the other side of the hub, and just kind of use that to help stretch it out and pull it over the top like that. Okay, and set it uniformly in between both edges. Make sure it does not ride up on the side of the edges here. Okay, then you want to try to flatten this out. Make sure that the roller is pretty flat and uniform, and the way you can do that is taking a ruler or another hard object and pushing down and just rolling back and forth, and that'll ensure that there's any bumps that are maybe within the wheel that are smoothed out and rolled out so that it'll work and flow relatively smooth. Okay. Then what you want to do is take some of your leftover tape and any kind of residual dirt or particles that got stuck on the outer edge of the rubber wheel can be removed relatively easily. The tape adhesive will just kind of pull all that stuff off. And there you are. A completed pinch roller which did not require you to scavenge from another tape, and so the next phase is just simply to put this onto the capstan itself. This is not actually the shell that this particular roller goes to, but take a little bit of Vaseline that I have here, petroleum jelly, coat the shaft on the pinch roller and also on the tape hub drive, which will actually help reduce friction and help the pinch roller turn relatively smoothly, and also the tape. And now you may actually have some tapes from time to time that you hear rattle when you play them. That's usually caused by this being dried out. Best way to fix those is to open up the cartridges using the techniques I showed in the earlier videos and coating the center shaft where the tape hub rides, and that'll generally get rid of the rattle that goes along with the tape. So, and that's about it. The only other thing is putting the top of the tape back onto the Ampex type case. Basically, the 5 holes, again, this is not that tape. There's a hole here, a hole here, a hole here, and a hole here, and a hole here on the Ampex. What you want to do is take out some of the plastic shards that have gotten stuck in there, and you take your screwdriver and kind of push them through and clean them out like this. Just get all the shards out of there so that the posts on the other half push down and can actually penetrate these holes and lock into place. Otherwise they may not go down all the way and you're kind of stuck with the tape kind of being partially opened. Once you do that, take the tape, put it on a hard surface, and just press with your foot on each of the corners here, not hard, or you'll break the shell, and then you'll actually hear it snap down into its final resting position. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, get yourself a little metal clamp and just slowly clamp on each of the sections and press that down, and that'll actually help close it as well. And that's about it. Thank you very much.